So recently, I was doing some work with a journaling group, and unexpectedly, the prompt was really very simple. They said, remember the street where you grew up, and to think about the stray dogs in the neighborhood, and the sounds, and the smells, and the people. It seems simple, right? Something came back that I wasn't really expecting, a memory, something painful about my childhood that really triggered me. And I didn't really think about it much at the time. I know that in several days I was in a depressed mood. And here's what surprised me. I didn't really see it coming. I thought I was just tired, or I was mad about the workload I was having, or it was a rough week, or it took me a while to understand and recognize what was really happening. And I'm someone who talks about this stuff all the time. I'm MC, I'm a health psychologist. I've been doing research for the past 30 years, and I come each week to talk about all things aging and how we can live our best life until we're in our 80s and 90s. And today I want to talk about depression because it's real. Depression is real. And I have to say, it's been a really challenging time, and that I want to share this. So please join me this week, not because I want you to feel depressed, but to join me and let's discuss how we can really help ourselves. I'd love to see you here. It would mean so much to me. So let's talk about it because the numbers of people over 60 who happen to be in the millions quietly and invisibly and without treatment is really something quite difficult to believe is happening. So it's really important to understand about depression. We need to know that when we look at this issue, we feel like aging sometimes is just comes with that, and that it can't be something that many people feel that it shows up in the same way. I think some people, as we get older, sometimes depression can look like fatigue. It doesn't want to stop. It could look like always feeling aches and pains with no real cause. It can be also about losing interest in things like your hobbies or what you enjoy, and you're just telling yourself you're getting older. Or it could be just irritability or withdrawing or going quiet or feeling listless and not really inspired or motivated. Depression in older adults is often mistaken for just aging. And that's exactly why so many cases go unnoticed by doctors and maybe unnoticed by the family, because the people experiencing it themselves can't really detect that there's a specific reason why an older adult is more vulnerable to depression. Sometimes it's about, for me, I lost my spouse 10 years ago. And yes, I feel a sense of a lack of a social group. I think I'm working towards finding more friends and connections because many of the people have moved away from New York. So that's really a big challenge. And retirement, should I retire? Should I not retire? Is there something happening with AI that's going to do something that changes the work that I do? Is there going to be this change in federal funding and the work that I'm working on and research? So, yeah, these things make you feel a sense of, is your life still purposeful? And that's important. Purposefulness is very key, frankly. And these things are not something that you talk about. I think also, too, what's happening in the family, what's happening with my friends, and some of those things are about the typical issues that come up with aging, chronic illnesses, challenges. And sometimes, if you've had a trauma that you dealt with earlier in your younger years, you don't really know that somehow you could be triggered by that same feeling of that trauma by perhaps something simple, a smell, a place, a conversation, even like this prompt that I came across. It opens up a door about those feelings that can come flooding in, and it does feel overwhelming. Trauma doesn't have an expiration date. That's the issue. And I know this from personal experience. And we really need to understand that the statistics are really quite shocking. 20% of adults 55 and older will experience a mental health concern, according to the CDC. 1 in 5 people over the age of 55 are dealing with some kind of mental health challenge. That's not a small number. That's millions of people. Nearly 2/3 of people over 60 who have depression are never diagnosed. And it's not because the help isn't there, but it's because nobody recognizes it. Not their doctor, not their family, and sometimes not themselves. Even like me, when I first started feeling these symptoms, I was really blaming it on work or feeling tired. But no, when I really did my journaling, I really realized it was from that memory that came up through that prompt. So think about that. You could know you have depression and still not get help. Depression among older adults increased 60% between 2010 and 2019, yet the treatment rates did not increase. So over this past 10-year period, depression in older adults went up by 60%. And the number of people being treated barely changed. So here's a sobering reality about the future. By 2030, there will be only one geriatric psychiatrist for every 27,000 older adults in the United States. So we have a crisis, and most people don't know it's happening. I really didn't know those numbers before I started working on this episode here. And I read what they shared. And this is why it matters to tell our stories. This is why it matters. This system of our healthcare isn't catching people. So we have to catch each other. We have to help each other. If you're a caregiver or a friend, sometimes sitting with a person that's an older individual, having a gentle conversation can be help, especially if it's something where you see there's some mild change in their behavior. So I'm going to give you a list, and I want you to hold on to this in your mind, both for yourself and for the people in your life. What are the signs of depression? 1, persistent low mood or irritability. It's just not a bad day, but a feeling that continues to linger for weeks of this irritability. Any loss of interest. Number 2, especially those things that used to make you feel happy, like reading, your hobbies, family time, friendships, going out, having brunch. 3, changes in your appetite or your weight. Are they eating more? Are they eating less? I know for me, it triggered my wanting to eat more because I'm an emotional eater. So if you see this in your family member, are they eating more or less? Is there some overwhelming problem that they may be experiencing and not sharing? 4 is your sleep. Are they sleeping too much? Are they lying awake at night, unable to sleep? That's for me. Is there a deep sense of fatigue that doesn't want to go away, even when you feel rested? And 6, if you're withdrawing, you're not reaching out, you're not talking to family and friends, you're canceling your plans, you're going quiet, you're not talking to people and sharing or making an effort. Those are key issues too. And finally, talk about your feelings like a burden or feeling hopeless about the future. I think that is a big deal. One of the things that we really need to understand is that our lives are built on purpose, deep sense of meaningfulness for your life. And as an older adult, you really feel a sense of wanting to know that your life matters and that you have things that you feel are in your radar in the future, even though your future may be getting narrower, as it is with me, is that you feel like you have things that you have to live for. And older adults, particularly older men, have a very high rate of suicide. And it's not something to wait on. It's not something to just brush aside. We need to help people and help them know how to respond to it. I'm sharing all of this not because I really want to upset people or make you concerned, but the truth is we need to recognize these signs at the first step when you can help and you can help the individual work through this. So, the most important thing I want you to hear in this episode is depression is treatable. I'm on a treatment, thank goodness. And even with that, I felt the feelings of depression, but I have something in place. I have a medicine and I have a psychologist I talk to. But depression is treatable and it can be treated at any age. Treatment works. It does. And it works well for people over 60 as well as it does for young adults. There's no age limit on healing. That's really where you need to start is talking to your primary doctor. Get referred to a psychiatrist. Get into talk therapy. I've been in talk therapy for years. And if you do have a trauma, deal with it. Talk about it. Talk to your therapist. That can be powerful situation because it was for me. And I cannot tell you how much it can help by taking steps. And don't underestimate that anything can help you move in the right direction. Exercise, meeting with friends and social connection, getting back into a routine, all of these things help. And if you feel like you have any kind of barriers, do something through telehealth. And that's going to help you see someone directly from your home. So I just want to say one thing about one barrier that I know many people confront that are older like me. Sometimes they see therapy as something that's a stigma. And a lot of us grew up that are older feeling that, guess what? You just push these things down. Asking for help was weak and you didn't want to tell things that were so private. You wanted to deal with it quietly on your own. This is not the road to go. We really must understand that talking and sharing and allowing ourselves to feel the feelings is what's going to help you in the long term. We have to break that barrier of what this is it's not a character flaw. It's not a weakness. This is something that happened to you as a young person. It created a trauma. It's no different from having any other condition like diabetes or heart disease, any of these things that happen to you in your body and your brain. We all deserve the proper care. So depression is a medical condition. It's not a weakness. And the bravest thing you can do is seek help. And I just encourage you that if you're feeling any of these feelings and you don't have all the answers, reach out. You can just speak to someone and tell someone, your primary care doctor, what you've been feeling. And they can help you navigate the necessary steps that you need to take. So I started this video telling you about my journaling group and this memory I wasn't expecting that showed up. And what came after it was not easy the past several days. It's been over a week. It's been difficult, but I got through it. And with support and with medicine and with care and the willingness to show up for myself and to share what I was experiencing. So that's why I'm here. Because if I can go through something like that and come out on the other side and talk about it openly, then maybe someone watching this will feel a little less alone. Or you as a caregiver will help recognize something that you've been seeing in a family member or a person you're caring for, so you can finally help them do something. Remember, you're never alone. Help is always available. So let me leave you with these three things. Depression in older adults is common, it's real, and it often goes unrecognized, even by those of us who are experiencing it. 2, It's not a normal part of aging. It's nothing you just have to live with. Treatment is available. And 3, it works. Treatment works, and it's never too late to feel better. So if you or a loved one are struggling, please reach out. There is the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You can call or text. There's the SAMHSA helpline at 1-800-662-4357. There's the NAMI.org. Or start with your primary care doctor. They're the first and best resource who can refer you right away. So please remember, you have this one precious life. Let's live it to the fullest. And if you're having any of these feelings, like I've been having, I feel like I'm on the other side of it, don't hesitate to get help first and foremost. I would love it if you would subscribe and join me here each week and share and push the like button. It would mean the world to me. Because truthfully, I really do want to encourage everyone to do whatever they need to do every day so you can be the best version of who you are well into your 80s and 90s. Be well, my friends, and I'll see you next. So thank you so much for joining me at Healthy by George. I hope you found the information inspiring and that it encourages you on your wellness journey. Because remember, your body, your well-being are a most precious gift, and every tiny action taken daily can make a huge difference. I hope the information here is educational purposes and is not meant to replace your medical care. See your doctor and talk about what works for you. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me continuing creating content that inspires and empowers you to live your best life. Goodbye for now, and join me again at the next Healthy by George.